Behind the Counter is sponsored by
Hover.com. Domain names made simple. Go to gfq.hover.com and get 10% off your entire purchase. And by Stitcher Radio. Listen on the go via the Stitcher mobile app. For more information, go to stitcher.com/GFQ.
Hello and welcome once again to another electrifying episode of Behind the Counter. I'm your host, Rich Stambolian, and with me, as always, is the world's largest importer-exporter of Jolly Ranchers, Jonathan Adler.
Ooh-yah!
I was going to say soy, but then you've been eating Jolly Ranchers for like 2 weeks.
Yes, that is my soul diet.
I've actually not even seen you eat real food in the past 2 weeks.
Well, you see me eat breakfast. That's about it.
That's true, yeah.
We share a breakfast once in a while, and for
We
the
don't
rest
work
of the day, we do not. You will see me eating Jolly Ranchers by the bag.
Yeah.
Every day it's a gelato because I do not eat grape and I do not eat
Blue raspberry.
Blue raspberry, so they go to the hounds for the most part. So when I get a bag filled with watermelon, cherry, and apple, it's a wonderful day.
Jackpot.
If it's a lot of watermelon, it's a great, great day.
Jackpot. Watermelon is the best.
Apple is my third favorite,
Uh-huh.
but that's the other one they'll kind of scatter about. But I've got a taste for apple.
Well, I don't have a taste for apple. Watermelon anything tastes like the best, but watermelon anything does never taste like actual watermelon.
No, it does. I was thinking about that today. It doesn't. I really like watermelon gum.
Oh, yeah. Bubblicious Hubba Bubba?
Yeah, really awesome. Does not taste like watermelon. And same thing with Jolly Rancher watermelon. Does not taste like anything close to being a watermelon, but whatever that watermelon is,
whatever candy watermelon
wonderful,
is. Yeah.
wonderful,
Yeah.
wonderful.
I have the same sentiments though.
Cherry used to be my favorite though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was never a big cherry anything guy.
Have you ever had watermelon Twizzlers?
No.
No,
They're
it's
awful.
I didn't even know they made
They
them.
taste like what real watermelon in plastic form would taste like. It doesn't taste like
garbage.
Yeah, it tastes like garbage.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't taste like like the fake watermelon that we're used to.
Like not the non-committal watermelon.
Yeah.
Can we can smoke cigarettes here, right?
Where?
In here.
No.
Oh,
Yeah. Next question, John.
thank you.
Did you think we could?
I've been doing it the whole time.
I've been telling him every week. I was like, Andrew, would let us smoke in here. It would be like he just made it black and white. It would be like Morton Downey Jr.
I just put cigarettes out in your dog's mouth all the time.
This is horrible. All right, the ASPCA is gonna come down.
Let's do some show.
All right, everybody, welcome to another episode. This is the beginning banter. Before we start, actually, today was a gigantic week of books, and this is
My pile.
Jonathan's pile. I'm not sure if the camera's on.
It is on you.
Is it? All right. The John usually buys his books digitally because he likes to save space. But this week, for some reason,
I just needed some.
Yeah.
I was around a local comic book store.
Yeah.
And I'll give a shout out to them. It was Royal Comics.
Mm.
And they're experimenting with some strange things going on there. The way that they're selling the comics. And so I bought a pile of comics. And,
$70.
And I stopped myself from a few books that I ended up picking up digitally.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't quite sure, and I missed a couple too. But so this week, I read about $85 to $90 worth of comic books.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
That's what that real estate buys you.
I mean, like this is not even everything that came out this week that you bought because, like you said, you downloaded like if you bought everything that came out that you read, it would probably be double the size.
There's another 12 or 13 books
Yeah.
I read on top of that.
So that's $80 worth of comics right there without a discount,
Yeah.
My stack was pretty gigantic too, but we're not here to compare stacks.
We've had times when we were working the store that we had they looked like novels. They were just like 2-3 bags of heavy stuff.
The best part about that is the fact that we had control over the orders of the books, and it was our jobs to skim through all the previews, and we would end up both ordering so much out there stuff. So every week, every so often we'd get the regular stack of comics and then 4 graphic novels, like a hardcover,
Yeah.
and then like art books or something like that, you know.
That's
And then we'd always get into like the other stuff, like Project Superior kind
Yeah.
of things, and like all that cool stuff that we used to always buy. Charles War,
Oddly
some
shaped
reason.
books.
yeah, like the James Jean art book.
Yeah.
That like both of them, like the first one was like gigantic and beautiful,
I still have it.
and the second one was like square
Mhm.
and envelope size, but it was hardcover. You know, it was really nice.
Mm.
So we do know our stuff.
Mhm.
We've bought our stuff,
We
and
bought our stuff.
and
We've shed our blood and our monies.
oh yeah, and the stuff is still there. I used to be a huge statue collector, not anymore. Like statues and action figures, but every so often I'll get an action figure.
Yeah, I mean I still pull out my Marvel Legends every once in a while and pose the crap out of them.
Oh yeah. Man, there's no shame in that.
I'm bringing into my office my KB toy trench coat thing, which I'm very proud of.
Oh, awesome.
It's badass.
Yeah. I was thinking of sprucing up my office as well, because it's not the same one.
No.
With like a poster or something. Maybe I was thinking about bringing a statue in. I don't know
I
what.
got some cool stuff going on.
But I feel like it would get smashed up somehow when I'm not there. You know,
I wonder by who?
totally knocked over. I don't know, some immigrants.
People.
So huge week in books, like we were saying. As far as news goes, like little tidbits here and there. You know, like you were saying, Prometheus is still coming out.
Yep. They're coming out. So
Spider-Man's still coming out. Avengers set a box office record of 400 billion.
Yeah.
400 million.
Sure.
They beat Dark Knight by 4 days.
Yep.
As far as like taking it to reach that point.
Robert Downey Jr. made $50 million off
How did he make $50 million again?
this movie.
Well, what was his deal?
He made $50 million.
No, I mean, you explained it to me before.
Adam did.
Did he?
Yeah.
No.
That was
All right, sorry.
other Jew.
And what was the other part? Dan DiDio supports Watchmen and says it's his homage to.
It's his
Alan
love
Moore.
letter.
His love letter to Alan Moore,
Which, if you interpret through Dennis Hopper's words in Blue Velvet, is actually a bullet to his heart.
Okay. So kind of interesting stuff. Today we're going to talk about a lot of comics. Like last week, it's been 2 major weeks, but the
Crunch time, baby.
The theme of, well, I wouldn't say theme, but that's something. It's kind of like the subgenre of comics that nobody really talks about, and it's been there for ages. It's been there since the inception of comic books, pretty much.
Salvation.
Which is
Salvation.
not salvation, which is
Gas prices.
taxes. Spy comics, the genre, like the noir genre, the spy comic genre, which has been there forever, but nobody really pays heed because I feel like spying has been used as a really quick writer's tool, where it's like, oh, don't worry about that, Black Widow got it.
Yeah.
You know, we're safe.
There's so much good spy stuff out there. Really good stuff.
Yeah.
That we're going to talk about it at length.
Let's do it.
We're doing that now?
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
This is gonna, and then we have a lot of books to get through later, so we might as well talk about that. And
so, I've always had a great affinity towards really tightly woven, cool spy stuff. It'd be great if we had a director that control the cameras every once in a while.
Hang on, I think I got it.
No, he's coming back. So, one of mine, I know that you didn't read it, but I was a huge fan of the camera.
Give me that.
I was a big fan of Queen Country from Greg Rucka.
Yeah.
Which ran for thousands of volumes. Beautiful books if you can pick them up. Which was basically about British spies. Very bloody. I'm good. They really gory, really like heartfelt drama. They made a few of them into novels, and it was just really good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what do you look for, you personally, in like the spy stuff? It's a hard sell. It's a hard sell for people. When people think spy, they think immediately, where does your mind go?
Well, I like
James Bond.
I like the I like the really like old school type, the gum in the door, to see if someone, opened the door, before, like the leaving the chalk marks on walls, the dead drops, and like I like the cloak and dagger, like cool,
street spy stuff, like the noir spy stuff.
Yeah, I like a heavy dose of noir in my my spy stuff.
We like the hard boiled stuff. Not so much the high octane espionage.
No, I'd rather not. I mean, there's a place for it, definitely in my heart. But when I think of like espionage, I think of like really the miserable existence of like people sitting around rooms, smoking cigarettes, waiting for opportunities, plotting.
Yeah.
And who are basically, this is all they do. They just live in this like underbelly off the grid,
like a fake world, completely fake world.
Yeah.
See, like my whole thing with spies and that stuff is, on one aspect, on the hard boiled criminal side of like the gumshoe and like doing really hard detective work, which is still kind of spying. You're getting your job done. It doesn't seem like a miserable life, but it just seems like a really unnecessarily hard life. It's a very driven life.
Well, you're getting paid. You're getting paid, but you don't really have any time to really, enjoy yourself, enjoy your life.
And on the other end of the equation, like the high octane espionage stuff that you see in the movies, it's you want to be James Bond. You want to be that dude.
Oh hell yeah! But then again, I love what they did with James Bond, and they took away that kind of smooth edge to him.
Yeah.
And made it much more of it was fine seeing James Bond bleed. And I get roughed up and. It's more of a gritty, it's as a result of, like the Bourne Identity type stuff.
Yeah.
Which is still, and that's great stuff as well.
Yeah. I mean, like the original James Bond stuff, he was a messed up looking dude. He was like a rough and tumble guy.
Yeah.
Sean Connery was too. Like, I think, like, besides Daniel Craig, he was like a really close portrayal. But then you had Roger Moore, George Lazenby, Pierce Brosnan, Timothy Dalton giving it like the swarthy, like the guy always looks like he's smelling like poop in the air.
Well, what's his name?
Thing,
well, what's the Pierce Brosnan thing? Really, like, he was the one that really just like it became such a. It had no rough edges anymore.
Yeah,
it just got totally smoothed out.
Very glossy.
Yes, it became like the X-Men franchise.
That was my favorite Bond.
Of course,
really?
It was.
Yeah,
worst.
I go with Connery and Craig, man.
I don't like the new one.
I love it.
He's too Russian looking to me.
It's fine with me. Awesome stuff.
So like you have like that kind of like spy thing. And comic books is a little rougher, but I think it's a perfect medium to get like really cool hard boiled stories.
Oh yeah.
Look at all the stuff that Ed Brubaker's done, especially with even like all the non big company stuff, and like with Criminal, even in Incognito, which is generally it's a superhero book.
Sleeper.
It's a superhero book gone wrong. Sleeper. Which is also another superhero book gone wrong. Basically, you have a lot of really cool back alley kind of stuff, and like a lot of fans look for it. They're very extremely well rated books, but the majority of your average comic book fan probably could care less. In comics, like the one thing I always think of when it comes to spies is Steranko's Nick Fury.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's really like the perfect balance of bringing in like 1960s, like the psychedelic era, James Bond, like Thunderball, but great Marvel, universe type stuff. Yeah, that stuff was good. I know that the Brits did a lot of good stuff. Within Mel Hurlant, their heavy metal stuff. But like nowadays, it's mostly like Brubaker kind of holding torch. Bendis started on a lot of like stuff like that.
Goldfish Jinx.
Yeah. Ruka did a great job doing, like what I was talking about before, Queen and Country. And there's been plenty of other successes to it. Like, we've had, like you said before, Sleeper has been amazing. And it's still within the genre of, like, superhero, sci-fi, cool, espionage stuff. Fun stuff.
Okay. That's pretty cool. I'm trying this out right now with...
I'm taking controls?
What?
Driving?
I'm driving right now. Cool. So, yeah, I mean, you're 100% right. But I mean, like I said before, it's rougher when you don't have like a Brubaker and Azzarello, guys like that, and Ruka writing that stuff, because there's a market for it. And like you said, Bendis started out making, and even like Powers is like tremendous when it comes to that.
Yeah.
But you also have like the fact that it's the catalyst. Like it's used as the catalyst for.
In what way?
I shouldn't say catalyst. I should say like this. Let's sweep this bit of the story under the rug.
In terms of like a superhero story.
Yeah, in terms of superhero story, that's generally like like you're getting some cool stuff now. Like you'll have like the Black Widow stuff and the Winter Soldier stuff.
Yeah, exactly. You have there's so much Marvel stuff now that is finely tuned with the spy stuff. Like there was a long time where Shield was the answer to the end of a story. Like wrap it up, Shield. That's how we do it. Now you get to see the inner workings of it, and like Marvel really embraces their espionage element.
Now, do you think because hang on one second, there's somebody in the chat room. JC Scotland cannot get the audio feed on his iPad. So now the way Marvel has taken Shield, because Shield was synonymous with espionage and spy stuff. But now I just feel like they're security guards who know how to kick a lot of ass.
Well, there's no real Shield to we're still trying to figure out what the hierarchy of Shield is at this point. I mean, Hickman did a tremendous job with Secret Warriors. Yeah, of really reestablishing the entire because Hydra has been a minor threat for years. They're just foot soldiers. They've slowly, really destroyed and rebuilt them to be a viable threat and fun too. A lot of fun. There's so many divisions of Hydra running around. And they're they're in Daredevil. They're in Avengers. They're all over the place again. But it doesn't feel like they're back to just the Hell Hydra just running around getting shot.
Yeah. It's also very rough, I think, to take big franchise characters and throw them into that kind of story for long term. You had those, I remember very vividly, you had a lot of Batman issues where it would be like the dapper Bruce Wayne, kind of like James Bond story.
Well, Batman Incorporated.
Yeah.
The Batman Incorporated really has become much more of, it's about, Batman creating a network of Batman to, combat this international organization called Leviathan, which is the anti-Batman Incorporated, who are creating supervillains of and has all it's very Hydra-esque, and it turns out to be Talia al Ghul, but it's the antithesis to Batman's new kind of cool gadgets, and it's fun, and it's it's definitely very James Bondy. Yeah, I mean he's one of the most James Bondy characters out there.
He is. He's also
when he wants to be.
Right. And do you think Batman just by default is the ultimate spy?
Oh, yeah.
Because in terms of characters, Batman can get his way out of anything. That's the way he's written,
Well, I think he is. I think Wolverine is. Who else? Daredevil, I think, has the opportunity to do it, but they've never really done. Now they're doing it, but because he's doing so much with the mega crime story.
Yeah, you have a lot of cool Daredevil espionage stuff.
Because I always remember there's an awesome What If, because it's actually Rob Liefeld did this, which is weird. It was a good story. What if Wolverine was a member of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Okay. And it was him, Black Widow, and Daredevil. Okay. And he was awesome because he was the blind gunsman. Right. He was their Hawkeye. It was fun. It was cool stuff. Remember a cool story.
Sentence over. Yeah. But I want to see more. I want to see more awesome spy stuff. I want to see more. My whole thing is that it's. I feel like espionage and that cool spy stuff that we love so much is so restricted to novels. Well,
my favorite genre has always been the crime genre, right? And I always feel the espionage stuff kind of falls into it, the same way that you do espionage noir, right? I think you can get so many cool elements out of it. I think that's why I think I'm particularly drawn to the Batmans and the Spider-Man, because they're all street level type characters, but you can do a bit more human-esque stories with espionage and stuff. But yeah, there's a big untouched, kind of shied away from field in comics where there's not much independent work. Now you have with an Image, Thief of Thieves is going on. You have stuff that why look at me like that, man. You have you have more opportunity to create some really, really cool, fun stuff.
You do, and I think the reason why it's kind of like an untapped resource as far as comic goes and to put it on the page is that either writers never really gravitated toward that kind of thing, and spy stories are really tough to write to make them believable.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. Well, because it has to be the balance. There has to be an area between, is it going to be, the spies like, Pierce Bronson, or are we going to go like Daniel Craig, I'm getting shot, I might die.
Yeah.
Type of thing. There's like, or like Ronin, type, which is like one of my favorite modern day spy movies. Ronin.
Right. No, I've never seen Ronin.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah.
That's like how I picture European, like really hard-boiled spy stories. Ronin is awesome. Lots of car chases.
I'll check it out. Everybody watch Ronin.
But I highly recommend read Queen Country.
I've never read Queen
Especially
Country.
You should be.
There's a lot of stuff that I should be
Ashamed of
reading.
yourself. So good.
Mm-hmm.
Greg Rucka has a really good hand on it. But I know, guys. The last one.
The world's leading importer exporter Jolly Ranchers.
But I really, really dig on, like, the reason why Queen Country was so good was because you saw how bleak and how terrible
being a spy was.
And like, really what it comes down to is like, I have to follow orders. How far are we going to bring this? What the cost is, and like how many people, like, because it's always a rotating team of people.
Right.
There's one main character in Queen Country, and she's like, the heart and soul of it. You get to see her development, and you get to see like, people who you spend a lot of time with die, and how you just kind of move on, and how they're all like suffering from the worst cases of PTSD. Not where you're under like gunfire at all times,
right?
But you're dealing with the fact that you were in like
if you get caught, it's
Prague, like, and some dudes got piano wire around your throat every other night.
Yeah,
and you're not having a good time.
Well, I mean, you got to go outside the big two for that kind of stuff, because who do you have in the big two that are like your spy character? You have Silver Sable, you have Dominic Fortune, you got a couple of dudes. You got Black Widow.
Silver Sable?
Yeah, Winter Soldier. I said Silver Sable. Silver Samurai.
Dominic Fortune.
The DC. I always forget. They made a show about it that didn't last too long.
Oh, what's that dude? The Target.
Human Target.
Human Target. Yeah, whatever about him.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like kind of hokey, and Nick Fury, who's like the least hokey of the characters.
And now we're getting a return of with like the Nick Fury's son. We also have like the opportunity for him and Agent Coulson to have like more
spy stuff.
More spy stuff.
Yeah. Was that a good enough segue as anything?
Yeah.
To pop into.
Pop it in.
You want to save it for later, or you want to do that one now?
Let's say that for later.
That is the book of the week.
Yeah, because that is the book of the week.
All right, so we're gonna talk comics right now. We do have a one little extra spy thing at the end, which is fantastic. The
bookend.
Little secret. It is a bookend. Of course, we're going to talk about Avengers versus X-Men number 4.
Oh, good.
I really liked the issue. I also felt it wasn't the strongest one so far.
Yeah.
This is like a transitionary. Did you just break your nose? Is a transitionary issue by the team of Hickman, Romita, Hanna, and Martin. Now, I didn't do this, but on all the Avengers versus X-Men books, you have this on the cover. It says AR,
augmented reality,
right? Which is Marvel's augmented reality. And in certain panels in the books, you will see AR, and you will take your smartphone, you download the app, you take your smartphone, you gloss over, and what happens?
You get some cool stuff. Like in the very first issue. It's really cool because the actual the panel acts like a portal, so it's like it's just like your regular camera is operating, and inside that panel, it's whatever animated you'll see like the very first issue or I think the very first time they released it was for what was that thing with Nova when he faced the Phoenix, like that preview thing.
So Zero.
Yeah, that's like the 0.1 or whatever.
Yeah.
You got to see like his journey through his helmet and became like an interface. It's animated. In this one, there's a couple of panels where you have Thor like in front of like the Phoenix, and you use the augmented reality, and it actually becomes a little tiny documentary about like what would it take to really destroy the Earth with energy. And there's another one where I think it's like a bunch of guys in Wakanda where they're actually searching for hope across it. You get to see from Cerebro them checking like Wakanda, Tabla Rusa, as they go down the list of the different places to go.
So it's a nice little addition to the comics.
It's got a great amount of potential what you can do with this. It's a really cool idea.
For those that aren't really sold on the digital aspect of comics, you might say.
Yeah, and what's awesome too is that it's only available for the print comics. So it's adding digital to something that is purely, print at this point.
See, I like the idea of that. But now, like, have you read Avengers X-Men digitally?
Yeah.
Does it have anything you could touch on the screen that will give you like these little tidbits of
print
anything?
only,
just straight print only?
Yep.
All right.
I think that later on you can access like Marvel's website and see some of it, but it's only on the print versions.
So this issue starts out, like last issue left off with Wolverine getting thrown into the Arctic. It's an ambiguous place, but he gets found by Hope. Hope's still on the run. Hope and Wolverine.
Oh, talk about that intro. That great beginning.
I'll go for it. I know it's your favorite part of the.
So the last issue ended with Cap knocking Wolverine out, a la old school Uncanny X-Men, where he gets dropped through the bottom of the Hellfire Club, and is like, "Ready, bub."
It was sadder in the last issue because he's like, "Guess I gotta walk."
Yeah. He's he's in the Arctic, and you have you just kind of see like beer can after beer can, and each panel turns over, and then there's just one panel of I should have sent the picture of Wolverine with a dead polar bear strapped to him, holding beers, and he's like, thank the Lord. He's been following a trail of beer to Hope, who is has a plan for Wolverine.
And then it shoots to the cosmic dudes. You get some cool Thor stuff where he's shocked.
Let me just explain this one more time.
Yeah,
he had a dead bear strapped to his back as a coat.
Yeah,
it was badass. It's cool Wolverine stuff.
It's some cool.
I loved it. I think it was a great page.
And you get the flip at the end too with him. But then you have like Thor like trying to throw his hammer at the Phoenix, and then which gets explained in the Avengers. But the continuity is not there because in that Avengers issue, he's wearing like this crazy space contraption.
Yes.
And in this one, he's just regular Thor.
Yes.
So he doesn't need his crazy space to get the energy of the Phoenix onto Mjolnir.
There's a few gaffes. They have a few gaffes.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty major gaff.
There's a gaff also with what's his name missing his shirt, Captain America.
Right.
In AVX, he gets his shirt blasted off by Gambit.
Oh yeah.
And then he's got a shirt in AVX.
Spare
shirt.
It's inside the shield. And then you have like some cool, like other cool stuff, more fights. I feel like this was a transitionary issue, but you had some interesting stuff where like Hope kind of diverted everybody to go to these different places.
Yeah.
Like Tabula Rasa, Wakanda, different cities, but she ends up going to the moon, and Wolverine dimes her
Which is like,
out.
how would you bring? First of all, why would you ever want to go back to the moon with the Phoenix again?
Yeah.
Bad
She
idea.
wants to eat it. She wants it to fly into her mouth. That's the whole point of this.
Ridiculous.
She's gonna try to.
I can't wait. I mean, we're pretty like we've had some really knockdown big ass fights so far, and this is only the third issue in, fourth issue in. So we're about to close out the first chapter of this. I have no idea where this, because this is 12 issues long with all the supplementary stuff. So what big changes are going to happen in this? I think they're going to happen pretty soon. I mean, I think there's a big something happening in the next issue. Because the Phoenix is here.
Yeah, next issue is going to be major because it's like this is a good issue 5 is a good point for the Phoenix to show up.
Because normally you would wait probably until the end of the story to get to the Phoenix part of it. But this is just like we're jumping right into it. The first issue we have straight out of the bat, Cyclops versus Captain America.
And they're doing a really good job of kind of like keeping you on your toes, especially with the Titans. The Titans are actually really excellent for this.
Yeah. And the shifting alliances.
Exactly.
Because the X-Men are a mess at this point. So you have a lot of dudes that are like were on Wolverine's side who are now going to Cyclops' side, just either for survival or for just being the right thing.
I really like the part in this book. They touch on that in the book, saying like, well, we're like Wolverine's dudes are coming over to us like slowly but surely.
Yeah.
And I like the that one thing in the book where Emma was like, "Oh, I have to find a weak mind to go and control Cerebra."
Oh, my man.
At the Jean Grey school.
Doing a good job with him.
And it was Toad. And it's like Schlubby Toad mopping the floor. And it was like that guy.
I love what they're doing with Toad right now.
Yeah.
I'm not too crazy about him and Husk. But but I really like him being around. And I love the fact that, the way that they make him look like the schlubby janitor, and he's got the he still wears like the frills, like the old school like Toad frills, along with his white uniform.
I also dug in like I said, the times have been really good, and you also get to see like the mutants that are disappeared, like in Uncanny X-Men, like Boom Boom shows up, and they're like, great, Boom Boom's here, and you had Boom Boom, Sunspot, and Hepzibah, who I thought she was from outer space.
She hasn't been around in a long time.
Yeah.
And Warpath just keeps getting his ass kicked.
Yeah.
At one point, this dude was like a mainstream character in an X-Force, like the good X-Force, like the more recent like Chris Yo stuff,
and in the old X-Force.
Yeah, but he was like, they did some really like messed up stuff with him, and he was like a main character. And then like once Rick Remender came on, he's like, nope, don't want to work with him. Like that dude got pushed into oblivion.
I think that's Remender's weakness, that he can't write Native Americans.
Nope, can't do it. Won't go near him.
You know who's going to be at the center of the Phoenix? Thunderbird.
Oh, that's why he's around.
That's why he's got the bird on his chest, dude.
Oh, just like Iron Fist.
Imagine, crazy reveal.
Iron Fist, Warpath, Thunderbird.
They're listening now, and they're going to change it because they're like, they know.
They know it.
So we're going to keep obviously talking about this book, but the series in general, to keep everybody up to date, because it's a fun read. It's only up to issue 4, so
and we got 3 weeks for the next issue. So
go pick it up. Let's jump into I don't think we have talked about this book in a while, or if not at all. Incredible Hulk 7.1. Marvel does these 0.1 books to kind of give you like an introduction to the character.
And these are the last ones for quite some time.
But at the same time, the 0.1 started kind of as like, this is like how the origin with like a one-shot story.
It's an easy way for a reader to just pick up an issue. It's a standalone and give you kind of like a summation of what's been happening, what to expect, and kind of like you said, it's like an origin type of thing. I
also feel like some of the 0.1s, like this one specifically, and well, not so much the FF one, but this one specifically, it was like, well, this is the launch of the new storyline.
Yeah.
It didn't really give too much backstory. If you were just picking this up, you wouldn't really know.
No.
Like, you'd kind of be like, what's happening? So this picks up where apparently Banner kills. The Hulk kills Bruce Banner in the last episode. In the last issue, sort of.
Kinda. Well, the whole story of the Hulk since Jason Aaron's come on, it's been amazing. It's been an amazing run. Is Hulk went to Dr. Doom and said, I want to be separated from Banner finally. And the way they did this was they basically took out a piece of his brain and they grew Banner out of him and took all the Banner stuff out of Hulk mentally and transferred in there. And Banner went apeshit. And he immediately was so obsessed with him, he had to create a whole island of monster men that are gamma radiated.
He became Dr. Moreau, basically.
Yeah, he became a psychopath, and Hulk just wanted to be left alone. Obviously, he met a bastard daughter of Dr. Doom.
Right.
Had an awesome knockout fight with Dr. Doom, and of course, this no story of Hulk ends without a gamma bomb. So gamma bomb went off, and Banner was succumbed to the bomb.
To Morgan as a human now, he just disintegrated.
Died. He's done. He's
but
dead.
This issue picks up where it's Hulk and it's just the Hulk. And
but it also ended with the whole brain thing, where now he's stuck inside. Like he can hear Banner screaming in his head all the time.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
So this issue picks up kind of with the same thing where he's talking to the Von Doom's illegitimate daughter. And she's saying, like, all right, man, like, you're done. You can do whatever you want. And now it's like for the first time, he doesn't have an eye kept on him because he's just the Hulk.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't have that like Banner mentality
And
anymore.
he's bald Hulk too.
He's bald, and he's doing like he's just having fun, man. This guy's riding on a Triceratops, and
Hell yeah.
what I'm assuming is the Savage Land. He's cooking sharks for dinner. He's finding buried treasure. He's doing a little Shakespeare in the park. He's getting struck by lightning somewhere, and he almost gets sacrificed by natives. And this is all told in 2 pages. You know,
So awesome.
Finds pirate treasure, goes, sits down, has a beer, says, "Hey, this is what Wolverine's talking about." Then has a confrontation with Red She-Hulk, who is Betsy Ross.
He's pretty bad, pissed off about the fact their husband's dead.
You know, and then they have like this big old fight. They end up making it.
Yeah, they do it.
Yeah.
They just grind their gears.
In the middle of the street too, just like 2 giant Hulks, and
she calls him Bruce.
She falls asleep on him, and he calls her Amanda.
Yeah, which is Von Doom's bastard daughter.
Right. So he wakes up like this is like dude's happy, he just got laid, and
who let me just say some interesting stuff about Amanda Von Doom. Number one, she's a brand new character.
Right.
She number one says she's not a Von Doom, even though she shares the name. She is partnered up with Igor.
Right.
They're monster hunters, and she got gangbanged by the Hulk squad.
Right.
By an entire irradiated monkey squad of gorilla people.
Dirty girl.
Dirty girl.
So
and she wants to bone Hulk.
Right. Yeah, and he leaves. He's just like, I'm out.
Yeah.
So he like the Hulk regresses back into something different, and that I feel like is like the big hook of this issue, where you don't know if it's Banner or not.
Yeah, well, he reverts, and you don't. It's like really, it's an odd change too, the way they kind of draw it.
Yeah,
it's like I don't know, like a creeping thing.
He's like
it's almost like, you know how they've always depicted him, like, you know, Hulk Banner turning into Hulk. It was like the exact opposite of like Hulk transforming into Banner.
Yeah,
where it's like enveloping him.
Yeah, it's like he's like sucking the Hulk back into his body. And then he's standing. It's like a bald dude standing over Betty, going, you know, the thing before that is Hulk goes, you know what? I always hated being alone.
Yeah, and
it was Banner who wanted to be alone. Like, I always hated being alone. He's standing over her, and he's like, "You'll never be alone again, dude." So what's gonna happen, man? It was like for a Hulk, it was like a really good cliffhanger, and we've seen some really cool Hulk cliffhangers.
Yeah.
I feel like that's why it kind of made it into the books of the week this week, because it was just like an interesting story, and it's something that just when you think everything's been done with the Hulk, you'll get something new.
Yeah, man. It's always a testament to someone. It's because he's a hard character to write, because there's only really so much you can do with, you know, a guy with purple pants, and he's a big green guy. I love the character to death, but it's a tough character to write. And especially with big runs like Pure David or anything. And Jason Aaron is going to be on for the long run, so you know he's really rebuilding, you know, this universe for the Hulk to play in. And it's awesome. I'm totally on board.
Question: if you could, would you have Jumpsuit Hulk back?
No.
You don't like Jumpsuit Hulk?
I did like Jumpsuit Hulk, but it served its purpose.
What is your favorite Hulk
outfit?
Yeah.
The purple pants.
Old school purple, shredded purple pants.
As purple as you can make them. I want floppy hair. I want, you know, I want really green, really purple.
Okay.
I want like Joker, like that type. I want like extreme.
Savage or smart?
The in between. I like the current type of thing.
Okay.
I like where he can I like where he's kind of like Conan, where he's kind of dumb, but kind of, you know, more ignorant than anything, but
just doesn't care. He
doesn't give a shit. And then, but I like that he gets dumber as he gets angrier. Like,
right. Yeah.
Like he's like a stutterer, where he just like loses his shit as he goes. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I always liked I always had a weird affinity for Jumpsuit Hulk, even though it was like so ridiculous.
I did too. No, I like Jumpsuit Hulk.
Because like I think the first appearance of Jumpsuit Hulk was Infinity Gauntlet #1, right? We were sitting in a bar, and was it?
It was in Pure David's.
Was it?
Yeah. It was during the Pantheon stuff.
Also, Infinity Gauntlet. What was the stat that you kept repeating?
Number one selling graphic novel right now.
Of all time, or just those 3D glasses?
Nope, just right now. Just the biggest thing right now.
All right. So next book, Fantastic Four, 605.1, another .1. Fantastic issue. For those that have been reading, you got to see the like a culmination of a Giant Hickman story in the respect that Reed found a ton of other interdimensional reads from different universes.
Mm-hmm.
And this
each
point one,
a little unique. There was like a Professor X type. There was an Infinity Gauntlet guy.
Guy
there
on
was
Fire,
Guy on Fire. There was like a Silver Surfer dude. There was like every type of Reed variation you can think of.
Robot Reed, Lady Reed, Big Brain Reed, different kinds of Reeds.
No Lady Reed.
I think there was a Lady Reed. There was a
transgender.
This whole thing was like I personally really appreciated the reveal in this, but this went since it was a point one. In my head, I'm like, oh, this is cool, like an alternate universe. This is one of the alternate reads, right? The story starts out with Germany winning World War II, and they're launching a spaceship into outer space because that's what they're for, and it's Hitler in command of it. So it's still Reed, it's Johnny and Susan Sturm.
It's Hitler. It's Hitler.
Hitler Youth.
Hitler has this is a world where Hitler is won the war, and like Johnny and Sue Sturm are like two psychopaths who work for the Hitler Youth. Poor Ben Grimm is like a Jew in the concentration camp. And Reed's like really like a big old Nazi.
He's like Hitler's main scientist basically. And as the story progresses, he meets Doom, and you're like you kind of automatically think like, how's this gonna play out like the old school story, where instead of Doom getting his face blown off, he solves an equation that has taken Reed forever to figure out, and he cuts a part of Doom's brain out and puts it into his brain.
So he's smarter.
And so he's like the combination of the intelligences, which is kind of, it's freaky. Like he's doing like surgery on himself, and he's taking everybody into space. And when they land, they basically become like Iceman, like an ice character, a fire character, a really messed up looking thing, and no stretchy powers for him, but he can stretch his mind out.
It's very Planetary.
Yeah.
Which is what in Planetary was a great Warren Ellis comic where it was about like different archetypes of superheroes, and the bad guys were Nazi Fantastic Four, and he had the that Reed had the ability to expand his mind.
Yeah,
drugs.
So cosmic drugs got to him. So it's like the issue's fantastic. Even if you don't read Fantastic Four, like I think you would just really like this issue. It would make you really interested in it, and it shows that this Reed came back to Earth and basically became the number one villain because he wanted to change the world. Yeah,
like somehow he got his hands on Infinity Gauntlet. And this dude took on he was the villain. He was the big bad for that world.
And you're seeing him fight like his world.
Most universes, Reed is the bad guy.
Yeah.
It's only in our world. Even in Ultimate, now he's the bad guy.
Yeah. He's the best. He was the one that made it.
He should be the bad guy.
Which is he would be the, as you can see, he would be the ultimate bad guy. The smartest dude on the planet.
I'm fascinated by the Doom Reed connection.
What do you mean?
But with
how in every universe they
just in general, just like how Reed is by all rights and purposes should be a bad guy.
Right.
And he kind of borderline is at times he's like how they treat Tony Stark for many years. Right. He's like the smartest guy in the room. And Reed is he's filled with secrets. He automatically knows that he is the right person.
Yeah. And
Doom is the exact same way. Every other reality we've seen, Reed has always been the bad guy. This collective has shown that, they all end up being bad guys.
Despicable.
Terrible. Yeah. And Doom, if that's the case, Doom is the consummate hero.
Right.
He is he is the superhero. And
you see that in the last run where our Doom, regular Earth Doom, displays those qualities.
And he's raised some important people. He not only did he raise Christoph, the replacement Doom, Valeria, but also what's her name? Layla Miller. He taught sorcery and technology. Rocking it.
Yeah.
So Doom's a pretty good dad. And I think one day we will realize how important he is.
Who'd have thought?
Yeah. Speaking of self-surgery, I want to talk about Iron Man every single week.
Yeah.
It comes out. I wish we could, but we're not got time.
It's rough.
I know.
It's rough too. This issue was good. This issue Iron Man was really good, but I don't think it was
it was pretty awesome.
That good.
I thought it was pretty good.
So you see this Reed fighting all the Avengers, and he's maintaining control with the Infinity Gauntlet. And then at one point he loses control, and the Earth ends up disintegrating into the sun, and he ends up floating in space by himself, and he has a giant beard now. And what does he do? it alludes to the fact that he either created that bridge or he found it.
I think they allude directly to that he created.
That he created.
That
this
he's
bridge.
the source of it.
Okay.
That he used whatever was left over that universe to create this.
So he ends up being the first Reed,
The
catalyst for the conglomerate of all these alternate universe Reed Richards, and he is like the old Reed with a beard. And I like the fact that he has a black beard, a brown beard with a white streak down the middle.
Yeah,
because he's bald now. Really cool stuff, and I did not know it was going to end like that. Where they basically give you the origin of the space Reeds, the interdimensional Reeds, and he was a Nazi.
Yeah, man. And remember, so number one, the Nazis started this. Bad Reeds overall. We can never really trust Nathaniel, his father. Von Doom, who knows? And plus, we have the two Reeds running around as the Supreme Intelligence now.
Yeah, exactly.
Andrew, I would save your wife's shoes before your dog.
Pretty nice. Andrew, we got time for one more or two more? All right. Well, we might as well do it.
Do it!
The second to last one was going to be Manhattan Projects number 3. Go pick it up. Pick up the entire series. It's awesome.
It's only 3 issues. It's awesome.
No, it's not. It's ongoing. This is the end of the first chapter. But I don't know how long it's ongoing, but I saw previews for up to issue 6.
Oh, thank God.
So it's going to keep going. The spy
That's
stuff
news.
came with a reason today. Mark Miller and Dave Gibbons knocked it out of the effing park this week with Secret Service number 2. I feel like this book, the first issue was great. This issue was so jam-packed with so much stuff, and Dave Gibbons' art has not suffered over the years. Usually you see a lot of old creators, i.e. Walt Simonson, Neil Adams. Their stuff has suffered considerably over the years because maybe they're not doing so much. Dave Gibbons, man, this guy has kept up his trade.
He's awesome, dude.
And I think he's like better than ever, actually.
Yeah, he is in top form. Like you said, this book is filled to the brim with story. And it brought home the idea of why we like spies.
Yep.
I mean, the entire storyline is basically this in long and short of it. There is an idea that if you eliminate pop culture icons and culture phenomenon all at once, you destroy the morale of a country. It's almost like a cultural nuclear bomb. So there's an organization going around killing our stars. So like Mark Hamill died the first issue. But this issue scales it back and shows you a bit more with the main character, Jack London, who is like the James Bond.
Right.
He's the guy with the keys to the universe when it comes to being a spy. And he is recruiting his nephew, who is just in a bad family situation, not doing well, but he sees his potential, and he wants to recruit him into, like, basically says, listen, pack up your stuff, we're going, you're going to learn to be a spy for the next, like, 3 to 6 years.
Yeah.
I think it's like 3 years or something like that. It's going to take him.
Yeah.
And they basically bring you into, like, the secret mountain. They show you all like the cool gadgets. They show you like a jetpack. They show you
cool cars.
They tell you like, listen, the first year like you're dedicated to finding a girl's second G spot.
Yeah,
like we're gonna teach you to be the best at like everything cool you want to do. You're gonna do it.
Yeah, it's such an awesome book, and you like I said before, the issue is so jam packed. As you have the reveal that his uncle is basically James Bond. And it's such a nice take on the spy genre where he's like, listen, like you're like my sister, your mom is kind of dumb. There's nothing we can do about that. I don't know why she likes dopey guys. Let's get you out of this family situation. And meanwhile, like what a really cool thing was that he's on the streets of London and he has like a pair of spy glasses on. And
that was awesome.
One of the one of the screens in the center of London is projecting like his boss.
Yeah, it's like if you were walking down Times Square and like all of a sudden like you stop, you put these glasses on, and you start communicating to the big Coca-Cola sign.
Yeah.
Or like the NASDAQ sign or whatever. It was an awesome effect.
Nice little touch, and like the way that Miller explains all like the subtle spy nuance things is really cool about how like. We get the money for this because we build this stuff for the Americans and we keep the extra money to make stuff for our guys. Yeah. And our stuff is more like reality based. Like they want the rocket packs and like crazy stuff. Like we get all the rest of the cool stuff. His car's like indestructible apparently. Takes him to this big complex, and you also get the seeds of the fact that they're going against a group of anti-spies. Yeah, like the bad organization, like the terrorists or whatever. Because you also get in this story 30 couples doing a wedding simultaneously, and somebody
Oh, that's right.
and somebody implants in them
Goes on this.
when the signal goes off to kill each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. But who knows what organization that is? You don't know at this point.
Yeah, and that has to do, and that again has to do with this star killer. But they're calling this thing, this whole phenomenon of killing pop culture icons and all stuff.
That the Chinese have now.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah.
So and then the kid kind of gets tricked a little bit, and he's like, "Oh, what am I supposed to do?" And he's like, "Well, like this week you're supposed to make $1,000 basically begging. And you're supposed to charm people out of their money. And then the week after that, it's going to be this amount of money. And then it's like a really interesting way to build up. Like, you're a spy, man. You got to be the most charming dude.
Yep. If you can't fool these people out of a few dollars, then you can't do this.
Exactly. And then it shows his uncle doing like spy stuff in China. And the last page, awesome reveal, him getting, like tons of guns are pointing at him, and he's on the computer hacking data. And it was such a fun book. Like a really excellent ride, very well written. Also very surprising from Miller, because Superior was good, but it wasn't great.
Kick-Ass was not good.
Kick-Ass, same thing. It was good, but not great.
Did not like Nemesis.
Right, Nemesis. I don't even think I finished Nemesis.
Did not like it.
Nemesis, and then you have Secret Service and Super Crooks, which are awesome books.
I think I was talking to our friend Bobby today about it, and I think the movie stuff got in his way and screwed with his work.
Yeah,
and kind of took away his I don't know, fine tuning. But that dude's in Top Gear right now, man. He's rocking it.
Well, this he always says is his dream project, like to work with Dave Gibbons.
Yeah,
who's like an icon in England,
and that he's had this idea for a very long time. I'm very much looking forward to more. I want to see where else they're going with this. Also pick up Super Crooks. It's an amazing book. Yeah,
get the new Miller stuff, man. It's out of Icon, which is a one of the Marvel like the only Marvel sub publisher, right?
Yeah.
And besides Max doesn't really count. So go pick up Secret Service, man. This is issue number 2. Issue number 1 is still on the shelf. Actually, wait, it may have been sold out, right?
Which one?
Issue number 1 of Secret Service.
Probably you find it. Digital, baby.
Digital, go digital. So check it all out. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Behind the Counter. I'm your host, Rich Stambolian.
I am Jonathan Adler, and I really would like Jolly Rancher to endorse me in some way. I will work for your better flavors.
The Jolly Rancher King of Bayside.
Thank you.
Good night, guys.